you will never be anything in life, but keep trying. One day you will just get tired and you will take your life. I see you blocked me on WhatsApp, but that doesn't change the fact that ke go tshwere ka pelo for what your father did to me years ago. I wanted to abort you, but it didn't work. And 23 years later, I'm stuck with you. And every time I look at you, I see your father. You will never fit in anywhere. You will never get married. And that makes me happy seeing that comes to life. And gape, when your life gets tough, don't come to me. Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. Hey, bo.
At that time when I was staying with my dad, I was a problematic child.
Yeah.
Like I used to drink a lot, smoke weed.
And I'm sure your mom was like,
chill.
"Mhm."
Yes. She was like, yeah, bo.
I told you.
Nazoge.
Yes.
Yeah, she was so proud, Shem.
Yeah.
She's like, she gets so proud when I fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was giving her that thing that, yeah, I will never make it in life. And then
I honestly don't think we talk about toxic mothers as loud as we should. Society tells us she's your mother, forgive her, understand her, respect her. But what we don't talk about is the emotional drain, the silent damage, and the lifelong wounds that come with having a toxic mother. But before we talk about our topic today, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Nelly and Kashi. If you are new here, a very warm welcome. Kindly subscribe, like, and share. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my content. I always say you could choose to be anywhere in this world, but you chose to be here. And for that, I am highly appreciative. And remember to engage with our topic today as we talk about toxic mothers. Now, the person who made me talk about this conversation is a trend on TikTok, where a lady was talking about how a mother threw things. Mamake alikuja akarusha vitu outside the house, and the reason was the lady was not picking the calls. So the mother came with her uncle, akarusha vitu kwa nyumba, akatoa vitu kwa nyumba, simply because the lady was not picking the calls. So the mother had tried to reach her some days before, and the lady didn't pick. And when she saw the next call, she automatically knew that the mother had come to all the way to Nairobi. Ametoka Ushago hadi Nairobi. And she wasn't there for any good cause. She was there to cause chaos, and she knew it. So she was trying to avoid it. But she was saying, little did she know what was awaiting her. She could have just decided, maybe, wacha tu nikamuone. So unfortunately, the mother and the uncle waliingia kwa nyumba. I think I'll do for that clip and play for you guys. Aliingia kwa nyumba, and actually the lady had locked the house, but she was still within the premises. Akapigiwa simu, akaambiwa, you know what, your house, mamako amevunja nyumba, and just come, just stop avoiding her, kuja. The lady had to come, and on coming, mamake akamwambia anachukua everything that she bought from the house. That meant the lady, I think it is very few things that she had bought for herself, and she was very young, actually. I think she was in campus. Let me look for that clip and play for you guys. So I know many of us, including myself, this may not be a conversation or a topic we personally relate with, but shout out to our parents for showing us love, support, care. This conversation is not meant to attack motherhood or disrespect parents. Let me start by saying that. However, if you're a sister or a brother who does relate to this topic, if you grew up in a toxic environment or you're still dealing with the emotional effect, the comment section is open. This is a judgment-free zone. If you need a place to open up, to share your story, or even just to say, I'm struggling, you're welcome here. To help us understand this issue better, we'll be looking at a few testimonials from people who grew up with toxic mothers. We'll watch a few clips and reflect together, not to shame anyone, but to create awareness, understanding, and healing. So stay with me and let's just have this honest conversation through the lens of truth and empathy.
Who do you think you are in this house? Nini akina nani kwa hii nyumba? Do you know you are nothing to me? Unajua hivyo? I can do without you. I do you cannot do without me. Mimi ni walikaleni? Mimi ni walikalako? Mimi ni walikalako?
Najua nilikuwa
unanishautia venye unataka. Watu tata mwezi mkafiki beyond your noses.
Nilikuwa mgonjwa.
Na ubisaje? Ukinishautia nitakugonga hii moja.
Haki kushauti mimi nakwambia.
Kugonga mdomo. Nitakugonga hii moja na nimalizana na wewe. Hii nyumba ni yangu. And I deserve respect. Unasikia mko machua, mko na ideas. You can do what you want. Sio kwangu. Ukwa mtaka kupaka venye nataka, sio venye mnataka. And I deserve respect. Mtoto aina gani? You cannot think even beyond your nose. Nyamaza hata nikuoge nyoni mto. Wakati unashauti hata utoi machozi. Sasa ndio unatoa. Unaenda dhati second year university. Kwambia usome usisome. Umebaki na 3 years. Hii nyumba yangu utatoka after 3 years. After 3 years unako. Wewe uko kazini ama hauna kazi. Hii nyumba yangu utatoka. Usiende kwenye unaenda basi. Ukienda kwenye unaenda, ujue hata wewe ile shule utaenda. Hata ukiwa sio kwenda shule hata ukaolewe. Hata nikwambia ukauze nguo huko. Nimekupea 3 years. Hii nyumba yangu inatoka. Na wewe? Sijui utaenda tikeno kama utaenda wapi. Unatoka kwa nyumba hata wewe.
Tuna haja na wewe. Hata ile 1500 yako reverse. Ndio hata iwezi kutusaidia. Na hivyo unashindaga ukitutumia madawa. Tukikuambia kitu unatutumia madawa. Unaona hizo madawa umechagua? Utaishi kwa hizo madawa wewe. Hivyo ndio nimekuambia. Imekuwa uwezi atisaidia mtoto mwingine na uko na pesa. Mimi nitesekage huku kukopa pesa na uko na pesa. Baada hata utuambie hapo mwanzo uwezi kutusaidia ni kutuchanganya akili tu. Usifikirie imusi hata soma. Mungu kuna mwenye ameandaa juu ya maisha yake. Wewe kaa hivyo umechagua. Hata simu usiwahi tupigia na utublock. Hizo pesa zako ukuishe ndio mama yako na hizo madawa wenye unashinda ukitutumia hapo. Kuisha hizo madawa mama yako. Na usahau kama ulikuwa na mama mahali hiyo kumbukumbu za memory yako.
Now, after listening to these different testimonials, I think we can totally agree that toxic mothers or toxic motherhood will show up in different ways. Today, we're going to look at how toxic mothers, probably the different ways in which toxic motherhood may show up. There's the constant criticism. Nothing you do is ever enough. Toxic mothers will always criticize what you do. Nothing you do will ever be enough. For example, there's this video that has played of a lady that was sending a mother 1,000 shillings every week. And the mother was feeling like that is not enough. One thing with toxic mothers, they will suppress your own happiness for their own happiness. Yes, because tell me why you'll be working a salary of 25,000 and they expect you, they actually calculate how you're supposed to use your salary. I had a friend who shared an experience with a mother, and she has actually given me the permission to share it with you guys. So there was a time that she called, the mother had, it's called what? Mamake alikuanga na, she was going to visit her dad, and she had given the daughters a budget for which they were going to work with. Akawambia, I need 35,000. 2 daughters, I need 35,000, and they are all earning below 30,000. Mind you, these people have they have house rent. They also have responsibilities, and the elder one had a kid. And mind you, when your mother tells you nitumie a certain amount, it's not, I feel like that is more of suppressing, and you're not supposed to be calculating my salary. And we should actually be fair to what I earn, and probably maybe I should have found how much can you get. The emotional manipulation where love is conditional and used as weapon. There's this TikToker, she's called Lois, and she was saying how a mother manipulated her. She had actually reached a point where alikat off mamake, literally. But then, out of nowhere, the mother calls her. She says that every time the mother calls, she knows she wants something, but she did that consistently for 2 weeks. Lois is 35 years old. She's not married. She's not having kids. So the mother called her consistently for 2 weeks, and she's like, you know what? The first week she's like, I'm just checking up on you. How are you doing? How are things in Nairobi? And then ndio sasa ikue amemtai for 2 weeks. The second week is when she was starting to tell her, you know what, I don't feel like you've done the right decisions. I don't feel like the choices that you're making in life are actually good. So she actually, a mother will not, she is not calling in the name of, you know, checking up on you. She is calling in the name of, you know, I have issues, I have an agenda, and I want to communicate it. So the toxic mothers also guilt trip you, making you feel responsible for her happiness, her sacrifices, and her pain. Like the story I was sharing. You sacrifice your own happiness and all that. The lack of emotional support, where your feelings are dismissed, minimized, or ignored. The control, where your choices, relationships, and even dreams must align with our expectations. I am 35 years old. I have chosen, you know what, I don't want kids. But according to my mom, she feels like, no, I must be a grandmother. So that is her not aligning with what I want. The comparison, constantly measuring you against siblings or other people, making you feel small. Now, this, as I have seen it majorly online, where people are saying how their mothers compare them. And let me tell you, if you are in a family where most people have made it, and you haven't made it, let me tell you, you will feel neglected, because in most cases, in the most cases of the stories that I have seen, people online, they're saying how their mothers make them feel inferior. And if you're the only person in your family that have money or that has money, you'll always end up in everything, just call. No, we want to do this, tatakuza mbuzi, pigia fulani, muulize. It is that specific child that has made it. Those are the testimonials that I'm getting from online. The gaslighting, denying your experiences and making you question your own reality. And sometimes the emotional neglect, where you grow up learning to survive without being nurtured. The effects don't stop in childhood. They follow you into adulthood, which comes with low self-esteem, people pleasing, fear of boundaries, difficulty trusting love, attracting unhealthy relationship. I remember there was a time I was having an interview. I was doing a podcast in Through the Lens. I think I look for that clip. And the lady was saying how she was brought up with a single mom, and she felt like she doesn't attract healthy relationships because she has seen the toxicity in her mom, and it has been passed down to her. And because of that, she cannot attract healthy relationships. And when she's even in a relationship, the toxic trait from the mom somehow ends up displaying. So constantly feeling like you are never enough, even when you are. So those are just the few things that come with toxic mothers. In case you're in a scenario or in a situation where you feel like you're not sure, is this a toxic trait, or are this just, you know, our mothers going through it? So there is some few reports that I've collected online differentiating safe parent and a toxic parent. A safe parent cares about your feelings. A toxic parent lacks empathy. A safe parent accepts you for you. A toxic parent disrespects your boundaries. A safe parent takes responsibilities for their mistakes. A toxic parent mocks and belittles you. A safe parent promotes your self-esteem, while a toxic parent is self-absorbed. A safe parent is trustworthy. A toxic parent never takes responsibility. Safe parent emotionally mature. A toxic parent manipulative. A safe parent okay to disagree with them. Someone was saying how she has been chased out of the house because ame disagree na mamake. From that time, she has been, just because of speaking up her own opinion, she has been chased out of the house. Due to ya kuongea, speaking your mind, speaking her mind. A toxic parent is emotionally immature. Safe parent, good communication. Toxic parent, controlling. Safe parent validates your experiences. Toxic parent lies to you. Safe parent validates your a safe parent makes you feel safe and heard, while a toxic parent leaves you feeling confused. Now I am on X, and I'll actually be reading a few of what people are saying. Someone is saying, I love my mom, but she's so toxic. Sometimes living with your parents is fun until you pay with your mental health. A bad mother is not a mother that makes mistakes or is not perfect. Bad mother is not a mother that makes mistakes or is not perfect. But who exactly is a bad mother? A bad mother is a mother whose children need to make sacrifices so she can have the life she wants instead of life they deserve. And even worse, when she throws a tantrum expecting to be told on you are a great mom. Throwing a tantrum means like she's so harsh, but at the end of the day she wants to be told, you know what, you're a great mom, you're doing great. That's a lie. And there's a question where someone is asking, do you think we should call out toxic parents, or should we just understand them for what they go through? But if you are to ask me, I think it's high time we call toxic parents for what they are. As much as the harsh or the reality, I think truth be said, life is a lot, and it's not fair to us that or to people who grow up in toxic environment. It's not totally fair to them, because you have to go through these things. You have to go through a toxic parent, you have to go through hardship. And parents are more toxic to their own children. I hesitate castigating people who say I can never speak to my mother or father again. 90% of my clients and people who run to me have pinpointed their trauma and hardship to their very own mother. One clearly stated, yes, she's been there for me. I ran to her and share with her my problems. She's a good listener, but I found out she knows why I'm in the current state, and she's done nothing about it. Only keeps tabs on me to know updates about my life, but not to heal me. There's a Ugandan toiling in UK, and all the money he makes is sent to the mother, who splits the same money amongst her other children, who are adults, by the way. In my small sample, majority are mothers. And all this generation bloodline stuff are traced back to the matriarch in the bloodline. See, the matriarch among elephants is the hard disk of the whole herd. Well, observe the matriarch in your family. Just saying. Never rule out anyone. Yes, they may perform some acts of kindness and performative sympathy, but not real lasting solutions. So these are people who go to admit, they go to open up just so that you can heal. Because let me tell you, if you do not deal with your childhood trauma, no one will do that for you, and you live to be bitter. You live to have a bitter adulting. Some things that are hindering our progress, I think it's because we do not want to look back. We don't want to reflect on our own childhood traumas and try to heal our inner self. Because most of the times you find that we tell ourselves when we make a progress that our inner child is so happy. Because at some point we have to deal with the self-esteem, we have to deal with how we were brought up, we have to deal with the poor environment that maybe we have been brought up. It is on you to deal with it. So you're told, cross-check everyone in your family. You'll find that at some point people are in Nairobi and they do not talk to their families. And as much as we are saying we cannot blame them, as much as we are saying, you know what, manze, that is their own family issues, that is on them. For me, I will stand to say that maybe I understand them. Because you find that in most cases, the mothers or whoever is not talking to the family, or whoever is chose not to talk to the dad, you can imagine you are out here struggling, and when it is good, when it's all butter and bread from your end, it is when the family is so close to you. But what happens when you're trying to figure out life? when you need a back to lean on. Take a case where probably you get pregnant. Let me put that as an example. And your mother chases you out of your house or out of a house because you're pregnant. Some people actually leave and never come back because I'm like, that was the time that I needed you the most, but you were never there when I needed you the most. So truth be said, cross-check everyone in your family, because you find as much as you're trying to move forward, as much as you're trying to move on in life, manze, either your uncle, either even your mom, either even your dad has actually okay, from the comment section, we are done with the unfruitful works of wickedness and high-class witchcraft from mothers. Young women, before you destroy another son, another daughter in that your young marriage, pause first, heal from your mother's wounds. They are dangerous physiological issues hiding. If everyone asks you to forgive, but nobody asks them to stop, you're not a family, you are a system. Let's say a mom who beats kids throughout them every day. Ukikuja every day you're beating the kid. Ukikuja, there's always an issue in the family. There's always something or a child who has done wrong. And nobody is going to tell that mother, you know what? Maybe it's time you just be telling them this is wrong. No, but wewe ndo unaongelesha unaambiwa muelewe ni mamako, but nobody is telling the mom, you know, probably that is wrong. That is a system. Listening to your pain is not healing you. Some parents just collect updates. Family toxicity serves because everyone forgives the offender and corrects the victims. Okay. Some parents don't hurt you loudly. They watch quietly and call it love. Years ago, people walked into my life that I had no idea. It went from their mirroring and taking over my entire life because they sinned against me. Even recruited a demonic family to pretty much on my daughter so they could, okay, that one I don't understand honestly. So let me get more posts that are speaking about toxic mothers. Having a toxic mom is literally hard. Like, that person should be your comfort and safe place, but instead they make you feel like you're walking on eggshells and jump down your throat about everything. You wanna go to your mom, ask her for help, but you don't bother after a while. I wish I'd known back then that not all mothers are good. Some are sick and fighting their own demons. Below the surface, they don't love themselves and they don't know how to love their children. Your mother should take full responsibility of her actions, and you don't have to become the woman she is. Unfortunately, in most cases, you are gonna end up like her. Sad but true. If you do not heal your trauma, if you do not heal your childhood trauma, if you do not heal whatever you have gone through in life, if you're not going to heal whatever your mom has passed on to you, you're going to end up like her. That one doesn't even need to be discussed. That one comes automatically. It is on you to heal yourself. It is on you to work on yourself. Somebody said traumatized children are allowed to abuse their parents back. Traumatized children are allowed to abuse their parents back. Okay, I don't support that. Truth be said, I do not support that. That is payback time. And honestly, at the end of the day, they are your parents. I know we are saying we should be breaking the systems, but it is from an inward side. It is from a side that it is on you to work on yourself, not to actually give back what the society gives you, honestly. Because if you're going to stab everyone, if you're going to stab your mom, if she's abusive, you decide to be abusive. So when will you get the time to actually work on yourself? I actually don't support that. Someone is saying, I'm so tired of my mother only being nice to me when other people are around. And I think I've seen this a lot, where your parents are nice when they're around people, but when you get back into the house, we show those kind of parents where, you know, you had guests, and that is the time you see the best version of your mom. That is the time that you say, oh, my mom can be kind. But mind you, when the guests are not there, ushaanza kuambiwa chukua hiyo kiti ama nikurushie, ama ushaanza kugongwa actually na vitu, they already flying. Sometimes I think about how great it would be having a partner, but then I remember that mama raised the bitch that is disgusted with physical romance. Okay. Now here's the thing. Somebody is saying, just know single mothers are doing more harm than good. A lot of daughters grown by single mothers are so toxic, and these are the people we are to marry. So here's the real question. Does single mothers bring about toxicity, honestly? Toxic children that somehow become toxic mothers. Look at it from this side, where a single mother, probably you become bitter because, you have all the responsibility of raising a kid, and you are burdened with all these responsibilities. Probably at utaki, you just find yourself you're being harsh to your kids. Now imagine you're a single mother, you're a daughter of a single mother, now when you're a firstborn daughter. I think most of the toxicity, or most of the people that was the comment section that I was seeing was coming from firstborn daughters, and how they were speaking of, sometimes life gets so hectic, sometimes life becomes so much when you have when you are a firstborn daughter, and the family where you're from, it's full of toxicity. Because mind you, a story by a storyteller from TikTok, and a lady was actually admitting to how she is the firstborn daughter, and she's receiving pressure from her mother, because in most cases you find that when the husband is home, some have even retired, when the father is a bit is not that financially stable, and this lady is being given the responsibility of taking care of the kids. Mind you, she's in campus, she's not working, and the real question comes, where do these mothers expect these kids to kupata kazi? Wanataka watoe wapi kazi, honestly speaking? So this lady was saying amefulia watu nguo, and there was this one time that circumstance forced her to actually sleep na mbaba, akapewa 50,000. Now here is the strange part. After amepata the 50,000, akatumia mamake 35,000, because that time the kids walikuwa nyumbani. And do you know what the mother did with the money? That was the time alienda kujishoneshea nguo. Now, this conversation on toxic mothers cannot end today. The list is long, the stories are heavy. Many people have openly admitted that at times it felt easier to be an orphan than having a toxic mother, because of the emotional damage, the manipulation, and the constant pain they were put through. That alone should tell us how serious this issue is. As we conclude, we need to ask the hard questions. Should we separate single motherhood from toxic motherhood, or the two be discussed as entirely different things? Because not every single mother is toxic, and not every toxic mother is single. And should toxic mothers be called out for the harm they cause, or should we focus more on understanding what they went through while raising us? Two things can be true at the same time. We can acknowledge that some mothers are victims of circumstance, trauma, poverty, abuse, or abandonment, and still hold them accountable for the pain they inflicted. Understanding someone's struggle does not mean excusing their harmful behavior. At some point, responsibility shifts when you become an adult. When you become an adult, healing becomes your duty. You owe it to yourself to become whole before raising or bringing another life into this world. Someone once said, the world does not stop, or the world does not care whether you are raped, neglected, or grew up with a toxic mother. It is on you to break the circle before you pass the trauma to your children. And as harsh as that sounds, there is some truth in it. Healing is hard, facing your wounds is uncomfortable, but repeating the same damage is not an option. Trauma explains behavior, but it should not be used to justify it. So as we end today's conversations, let this be the takeaway. We speak up, not to shame, but to heal. We reflect, not to blame, but to grow. And we break the circles so the next generation doesn't have to recover from what we refuse to fix. Thank you for being part of this conversation. If this episode spoke to you, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment sections. And remember, healing is possible.